Okay, we're back. All right, we had stopped at this. I'm not even sure if you saw it, so I'm going to record again and I'll have to cut this. This is their parallel Hebrew and LXX version. It's buggy. It's buggy because it says that you can change your default Greek and Hebrew lexicon, and I prefer Thayer for Greek, which is how I have it set up elsewhere in BibleWorks, and I have Twot as my defaults. But instead, I'm getting Halot and Layman. These are two purchasable Bible lexicons, which I did not specify as my defaults. So I do not know why I'm getting what I did not want. Also, I'm getting this thing in the middle with lemmas that I also didn't want, and I don't have any way of getting rid of it. Okay? There are no options to allow me to get rid of it. Unless I can get rid of it this way. Let's see if I can get rid of it this way. Alignment search window. No, that didn't allow me to get rid of it. Alright, I don't want these. I don't want the dictionaries, and I don't want this analysis. It's just a lot of extra junk that I don't need to remember. I got what I want. But unfortunately, I'm not being allowed to change these options. Now maybe in a later version of BibleWorks I can do that, but not here. Alright, so the parallel in Hebrew and LXX that you see here is not the way it worked in my other version of 8 that was on my other machine before it crashed due to a BibleWorks update. So I don't know what's wrong here, and I can't change it. Alright, because even when you close it, let's see what happens if I close BibleWorks. Maybe I have to restart it. Is that the problem? See, that's what's wrong with software today, is it's so complicated, and they're trying to be nice, you know, give you lots of options, but there are just too many different conflicts between one program and another, and when you make it too fancy and you change the interface, this makes it hard on the user. So now I've you know, restarted it. Let's see if I get what I want in the parallel Hebrew and LXX. No. So this is a flaw in BibleWorks. This is not the way it worked with the one with the update. So I'll have to try the update and see if it doesn't crash my machine, and I'll report back to you on this. I can't do this now. Alright. There's another little thing here that I just inserted after the last time my recording crashed, which is the flashcard module. That's here in resources. Where is it? Tools, viewing the text, analyzing, viewing, importing, exporting, language tools. See this vocabulary flash module? That's only available for Greek. Okay, you can get flashcards in Hebrew from Amazon. Bible flashcards. I've got a bunch of them. I've never used them, but I got them. But they're actually embedded in here, and let me show you what they look like. Oh God, did I just turn it off? Well, I can't show you what they look like. The whole thing just froze. The whole screen just froze. Great. Okay, I can't show this to you. I don't know if you see the recording or not, but this thing here calls up a flashcard with an audio on the pronunciation of the Greek, and their pronunciation is somewhere between Booth and Erasmus. But I can't show it to you because there are keyboard conflicts, as usual, between my recording program and BibleWorks 8. The two don't get along, so I will not be doing videos using BibleWorks 8. That's just too much trouble. Okay, so if you were to click on that, you would get the same thing as this thing. But I can't show it to you because otherwise it's going to crash the program. Alright, so we've covered parallel versions, we've covered, and we got bugs with the flashcard module, at least in recording. We got bugs with the keyboard, you can't show the shifted keys. Okay, the keyboard layouts you saw. Parallel versions we constructed, but it doesn't save unless you create it as a favorite. That's a bug. Open Parallel Hebrew, we just saw the bug with that. You make changes, but they won't listen to you. And then you got this thing, which is an interlinear that requires you to use the morphology database. I'm not going to do that because the morphology databases are a pain in the neck. Alright, so you're going to have to experiment with what this does on your own. Then the setup window is the same thing as you've seen me do many times with these option flags. Alright, this is button bar setup, and this is where I was when it crashed the last time. You have options. I've already configured my buttons, alright, the way I like them. But let's say you wanted other ones, like you want to have text compare options. I have no idea what that does, and I don't even care, because I can compare my text in my browse window. I don't need it. This is to diagram sentences. Diagramming sentences to me is a useless occupation. It is very popular in Hebrew and Greek seminary teaching. I think it's useless. It was useless to me in the 4th grade when I learned it for English, and I'm not going to go through that now, but maybe you want that. Okay, this has to do with the KWIC database and their collocation tables about the frequencies of words and how words fit together, and maybe you like that and maybe you don't. I don't happen to think it's useful, and so I'm not using it. This is their graphic search engine. It's a very complicated thing. You can also access it by just hitting the function 9 key, which I cannot do while I record. That's a diagramming. That's like diagramming here, only this is a diagram search. I find it totally useless. In 10 years I've never used it, and feel free if you want to. I don't even want to spend time on it. BibleWorks map module. This is useful, but I can't show it to you. This is their map of the holy places and stuff like that. It's very useful, but it takes up too much RAM and it's going to crash the machine if I show it. This is for the lexicons. If you want to add the lexicons as a separate thing, then you can add this to your button bar. Okay, and you do that by adding it here. It automatically goes to the end. If you want to change where it's located, look right up here at the top while I do this. I'm going to click the move up button and it's going to move this. Alright? See, right now it's here at the bottom, but now I'm going to move it up. And as you can see, it's moving that little A up. Alright? So I don't know, where should it go? Maybe just before. Oh god, it hung up. I'm going to lose my recording. Damn. Okay, I'm going to have to stop recording. This thing is not working. It's causing a hang in my system. But anyway, right now it's right before the verse copy window. So it's right here. All right, but I'm going to have to stop because the keyboard conflicts are too many. I can't even move my mouse now. All right, so I'm going to stop. Okay, this is where we were, and I reset it. It's, as you saw, it was just before. It's just right up here, the lexicons. But if I don't want that at all, because I don't need it, it's just extraneous, I click remove and it went back to the left hand side. Okay, this is where you can open a floating resource summary window. All right, and I think I like that, so I'm going to add it. And you'll notice that it added it to the same place where the last one was, which is kind of weird. I didn't ask for that, but it did. Alright, so I don't think I want the resource window there. I think I want it right next to BibleWorks cloning, because these two things are really similar. They open up new floating aspects of BibleWorks, so I think I want that there. Alright, so then your next thing, and this is really important, but it's only for sophisticated users. You can literally make your own version of the Bible. Okay, so build user version, which is in the left here. You can have a hot button so that if you're creating a new version of the Bible, you know, your own translation or whatever, you can add that as a hot button so you can access it, you know, building a new version quickly. All right. If you want to edit external links, this has a BibleWorks 80 has a function where you can create and maintain and save a bunch of external links that you might be using while studying. So you want a hot button if you want to edit those, so you can add that. You can do something called generating a verse report, which I've never done because usually the defaults are not the kind of defaults I like. But you can add that as a hot button. The word list manager you've already seen. Oh no, I didn't do the word list manager. So let's do that. Let's add that. Okay, now the word list manager is sitting in front of where the last thing was that I inserted, but I'm going to want to move that forward next to my word history manager, because word list and word history are going to want to be in the same place. So now I got the verse list manager, and I'm going to want that too, so I click add. Okay, now I put the verse list just before the word list, but I want it to be there instead. Whoops. I put the word list in the wrong place. Let's move it down after word history. And then I want the verse list manager to be just after verse history. So you see, that's how that works. Then there's this thing called ERMI, and that, I forget what that is. I've never used it. So you can practice with that, if you know what that is. That's a big thing with a lot of people that are in Bible scholarship, and I haven't ever learned it. So, you know. If you want a Strong's toggle to be on and off as a hot button for your browse window, then you want to add that there. If you want to copy your verse list, and I think I do, I think I like that idea. If you want to copy your verse list, then you decide where you want that to go, and where I want it to go is right next to the copy, so I don't have to use that stupid copy thing anymore. So I'm moving it down so it's right next to the copy dialog, just after it. There. Alright, so let's close and have a look at how this works. Copy verse list. Oh, the verse list box doesn't have any entries. Alright, so it's a blind thing. Well, then I don't want it. Alright, so then I go back to my button bar, and I want to remove that, so I remove it. Alright, then we got the BibleWorks timeline. The BibleWorks timeline is a built-in, I'll have to show you what it is. Let me add it so I can show you. Okay, let's put the timeline all the way at the bottom. Well, just before button bar. Okay, let me show you what that is. But I'm going to do it in the next increment because I'm afraid it's going to kill this machine. Okay, back again, and we're still going through how you can change buttons, but I had stopped at the timeline because I want to show you what that is. This is the typical scholarship idea of when things happened in the Bible. Frankly, most of it I find kind of useless. Well, not most of it. The Old Testament stuff in particular I don't care for, because they don't really go by the Bible. This isn't, they're not using the Bible. See, they're saying that creation occurred here. Okay, Bible tells you it was 4106 BC. I don't know why people don't know that. Alright, and you know, so all their timelines prior, like what they used. They got it right for entry into the Promised Land at 1400. That's true. All right. They got some of their other dates are reasonably okay. But you'll notice the Exodus in the wilderness, they got Moses, well, he was actually born in 1520, so that's close enough. They have entry into Egypt when? They have flood to the Exodus. The flood occurred in 2450 BC, per the Bible, not per scholars. They have that listed here. No, I don't understand what they're doing here. The flood occurred 2450. Okay, this date's wrong. That might be Noah's birth. It won't be wrong if it's his birth. It just says Noah, so I don't know what about Noah it's saying. But the flood occurred in 2450 BC, and I don't see them showing that. All right. Shem was born a year after the flood. No, Shem was born 100 years before the flood. Well, this is wrong. Shem was almost 100 years old when the flood occurred. So this is wrong. So, you know, the thing is that they will allow you to edit the timeline. I can't show it to you here because it'll crash the machine. But you are allowed to edit this to your own liking and to your own idea of what's correct or not. So that's what's good about this timeline, is that you can edit it. And you can also see what other people think the times were. You know, obviously the entries get a lot more, you know, this is when they think Joash ruled and Jeroboam. All right. Their dates for Saul are wrong. Dates for Saul and Samuel were off. I forget, it's like by 100 years. But you can pursue this at your leisure. You can expand the timeline. You can modify the properties. There's lots of things you can do here. And, you know, look right here. You can save it. And also, obviously, if you made a mistake, you wouldn't want to save it. And if you save it, my suggestion is, see where it says World TL? Look for that file first before you edit the timeline. Save it in a separate place first so that you'll always have the default available, and then make your editing. And then if you make a mistake, then you can always copy back the original file. Okay, I'm still okay. Alright, so we were at all these things that these buttons mean. We'd gotten down to the timeline, which was, which I had added. And then after that is Nave's topics. Nave is an old Bible scholar, and he organizes topics by nouns and stuff. A lot of people use it. I find it too basic for my usage. Choosing the search version, you can have a hot button for that, but as you saw, all you have to do is lightly click your left mouse button with your index finger, and then right click, make this the current search version, or, you know, so you can do that on any search version you've got displayed. So I don't see a reason to have a hot button for choosing the search version. There's 3 different ways to do it. Help window, for the same reason, you don't need that. You can just click on the word help. Set version display order, yeah, if you want that. Okay, but it's just as easy to use the menu. Set search range, that's probably a good idea, so let's add that. And we're going to have our search range move up. See the little hand moving at the top, nearly at the top of the screen? Where do I want that to go? I want it in front of version notes. I'm not sure where I want it to go. Put it before the synoptics, just after version notes. Okay, so now my search range is there. Okay. So then you have the search version. You can also add the set version display order. Alright, or choose your display versions. And you've seen how I've done it now 3 times, how you add it to the right hand side by clicking the add button. Then you have a thing called Morphology Assistant, which I have absolutely no use for, so that's up to you. Then your Bible outline. You can have the Bible outline. Let's show that. You can have your Bible outline be a separate hot button. And I'm going to move that up to just after the timeline. Timeline and outline sound a lot alike, so that's easy to remember. See? Now the reason why it's not showing up real well here is because I've got my font set on too large for what BibleWorks likes. So you can't read them. I have my font set large so they show up well in the video. Alright, but see, if you had your font set smaller, this is the title of the outline, God's Covenant with David, God's Eternity and Human Frailty. It wouldn't show up goofball like it is in my video. Okay, because it's too large for BibleWorks. Okay, and then you can go from chapter to chapter. You can go here and look at, you can barely read this, Descendants of Shem. Alright, see, now you can read it if you look at the entry above it because of the size of my fonts. So it doesn't show well, but it'll show well in yours. That's kind of useful. Alright, that way you're going from place to place using this separately rather than, you can do the same thing if you do this, but see, this is so easy to move, you can easily go to the wrong place. Alright, so that's how that works. Alright, what else can we edit? What else were you able to do? Alright, so we talked about the morphology and the command line assistant. That's to help you understand. See this thing up here? This is the command line up at the top. It's going to make that noise because it wants me to close the window. But see where it says enter search words or verse here? That's what your command line is. If you need assistance in that, then you want to have that as your hot button, in which case you would just click the add button, it would move it to the right, and then you move it up or down as you see fit. And if at any time you don't like that, or you want to just change everything back to the initial, then just click the reset button. So that closes it for the buttons. Sorry it took me so long. Sorry there have been so many fits and starts.